And we are live? Question mark?
Too much sure. Are we live?
I never
Well,
know
I know I'm
anymore.
dead inside.
That's fair. Yeah, you could. I think. Can you still be live and still be dead?
I mean, fair. But hello, all you VC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another your WrestlePod Network conglomeration syndicate thingamabob we do pretty much every single day of the week. I'm gonna be honest, you guys. WWE really made me mad this week. I'm not even going front.
We'll talk about it. This might be a quick review. If
I didn't
these,
even
if
say that,
so,
but we'll probably.
if this was the scale that we used to have, where if it was less than 2 out of 10, would we be reviewing either of these today? Are they that
That is
low?
very true. I mean, we almost got there. I don't think it was inherently bad. When I remember 2 summers ago, that was a dark period for.
Well, there was some bad ones. No, you're right. I don't know if we're right at the cusp of.
So we gonna figure all that out as we talk through Raw and SmackDown from this week. But then on top of that, because we are not going to be having a regular scheduled review next Sunday, depending how Raw and SmackDown go this week, and if they don't make me mad, there might be a possibility of an Evolution watch-along, but still trying to figure out that schedule. More on that when we get to the end of the show. But if you are new to BC WrestlePod, thank you so much for tuning in, whether it was the algorithm, whether it was a friend or your enemy, whatever it is, or you just happen to see some random people on the internet talking about WWE. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. Make sure to hit the subscribe and bell notification on YouTube or follow us on Twitch or Kick. But if full-length review, live streams, and edited videos are not your shindig, then you can still be caught up with everything that happened in the world of professional wrestling, because there's always a lot of things that go down. You can follow us at BC WrestlePod pretty much on every single social media site that you could think of: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, the Threads, the TikToks. It is wild out here. We have clips of our reviews that summarize our major talking points, as well as weekly report cards for all the shows, and as well for all the pay-per-views and special events that are happening. It was very fun having a back and forth conversation with somebody on the YouTube page trying to be a troll, and I out-trolled them, so it was a lot of fun this week.
We get trolled? Oh, who trolled? What?
So without giving their handle and everything, because they didn't reply back, so obviously they weren't going to. I went back and forth with somebody on a comment of one of our shorts about Tony and Mercedes' match at the upcoming All in Texas. Somebody called both of them a joke, which then transpired from them being haters to very misogynistic. So we don't got time for all that. I was like, listen, they might, to you, both of them might be jokes, but they getting paid and they about to headline this crazy match at this pay-per-view. So the punchline will be them on this stage. So it was fun. But we also get some lovely individuals who actually like what we do and aren't consistent trolls on the internet. So thank you for that. We also got some merchandise at fourthwall.com/BC WrestlePod, where we have a bunch of everything. We finally actually got some sales, which is nice. So that was a lot of fun to see and get that email. So I know times are tough right now, but if you treat yourself to something nice once in a while, you bet your bottom dollar that when the fall rolls around, I will be stocking up on merchandise to shamelessly promote and pimp myself out for this channel.
Support your local, right? Like, come find the DIY folks like us, right?
For reals. But with that being said, let's get into it. Raw and SmackDown. These are the Raws and SmackDown post Night of Champions, which was also a blur. WWE has I feel like they took Jacob Fott's catchphrase and weren't using it in the proper context this week, because it's all gas, no brakes, yada. And I'm like, I feel like we need to pump the brakes. We need to slow it down.
I totally don't know what they mean anymore.
No, and between Saturday night main event builds and the lack of Evolution builds on main roster, thank God for Shawn Michaels and NXT. We're going to get to it when we get to it. But y'all put these women in this position, and I'm angry about it. And you're going to hear me in a little bit.
I think and we'll talk about this, all the reviews, because I didn't watch, we have a tiny bit of ethics here. The reviews I've heard for it and the storylines that have come out of it are such strange pivots to me that, some folks really loved it and they watched the matches, and apparently the matches were great and it was fun and it needed to be what it was. Fine. So I'm a little bit jaded and a little bit objective. Fine. And I'm pointing out my biases. Okay, whatever. But now you kind of have these pivots that you gotta, I don't want to say fix. That's not what I mean, but you gotta really justify why, where, how, where we're going. I kind of like where we could be going with Cody. It could finally be the Homelander that we've been talking about for 2 years. It seems like that might be happening. It seems like Darth Cena has some sort of light at the tunnel. We all might have gotten played for a year, which I kind of like, and that's okay. Everything else just kind of seemed like and here it is, and goodbye. I don't like Fatu not having the title. I think he should have had that way longer. Makes none sense. Jade Asuka, okay, I
Yeah.
guess. Like, they just nerfed them all. So it's really unfortunate, and I do think that hangover led into Raw, and what I've heard from Raw, 'cause I didn't watch Raw, but I've throughout the week hearing people talk about Raw, everyone kinda rolled their eyes. I was like, "Oh, really? What the hell happened over
Oh,
there?"
listen, I'm just gonna put this here. We're gonna discuss it about it further. Triple H is not beating the anti-black movement allegations, especially when we get to our tag team championships.
Oh, no.
Okay, I gotta
No.
we got
Alright, let's run our mouths.
let's go. So we're gonna start off with Monday Night Raw. What happened this week? We kick things off this week with Mommy Ripley. She's out here. She gives Raquel Rodriguez props for their match at Night of Champions, which the internet has consensusly agreed this was probably the best match of the entire card. Which I was just like, there you go, girls. Show that crowd who gave you guys no pop what they be missing. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna see this. Like, we already know. Let's see what happens. Mommy gets interrupted. Rhea gets interrupted by Io Sky. Io gets into the ring, and I was like, okay, finally, Io is probably going to defend this title at some point. Like, again, we talked about this last week. Io and both Tiffany and Io. Well, no, not so much Tiffany now, but Io has not defended this championship since Mania, which is kind of a disservice to her as champion, which sucks. But then I was confused because Io states that Evolution is coming up. There's a lot of possibilities of who can fight her at Evolution. I'm like, okay, cool, down. This is gonna be fun. And then Io's just like, Rhea, I pick you as my opponent. And I'm like, did I miss something in the plot progression? Like, since when did champions picking their opponents like this become a thing? Which I know somebody in the comments is going to be like, but don't you remember? No. I was just like, this is kind of crazy.
But usually, it's not just Io Rhea. This has been a thing actually across many promotions now, where we have this sort of idea of a champion going, I want to face you. You're worthy. And in the 80s and 90s, even the early 2000s, that had to be a little bit of a righteousness, right? Am I crazy? Like, there was something to that mystique of that. Now it's just, I don't want to fight them. I want to fight you. Oh, the match is made. It's like, it's almost arbitrary. It makes no sense.
Well, you are crazy, but that's beyond the point. And
Really?
yeah, it's very convoluted, I think. It's like they're just throwing something at the wall and seeing if it sticks and praying that, no one notices. I notice. I've made this comment on a couple people's TikToks recently that I've seen. Like, they're saying, hey, there's been a disservice to the women. Of course, I'm going to foam at the mouth because of this, because these ladies, they do so well. They perform so amazing, and they just do not get creative support. They're just like, here's creative. Okay, cool. The guys are flushed out weirdly. Oh, the women? Here's some scraps. Figure it out. And I want her to have a great title defense. I want Io to have something.
I think they messed it up scheduling wise. I think the timing of it coming a week and a half after the Saudi show on this road to SummerSlam, like, you could have. You really want to push the double billing, and you kind of crush the women in between, right? Kilt to get angry. Kilt to be angry.
Angry Kilt is out. As I start to jerk myself out. Evolution is on the 13th, right? If I'm remembering the date correctly.
Next
Saturday night main event is the night before. That's one of the things they're fucking the women over with. They're putting this mediocre match booking that is Saturday night main event, because that's so far that's what it is. It's mediocre as shit. I don't want to see Goldberg. I don't care about Goldberg. Fuck Goldberg. The Gunther storyline has been stupid, and I don't like it.
Oh, we gonna get into that mess later in Raw, because I'm like,
I know we'll get to that later. But the Evolution, and then one of the things that did throw a wrench in the Evolution storytelling is because Liv got hurt. Now, we don't know when she's coming back. They're juggling how to do things, and it's frustrating that they aren't taking care of the women. It's like, I want Glow to come back and just let Glow do everything women wrestling and make that better.
A point that Mikey used to make too is that when someone goes down, it shouldn't be this unraveling of the division, right?
no, because
Like,
in this
you just
case,
talk about that at length, where it's like, hey, it should be built a certain way where if I lose one of you,
you
I
still
can
got
still
2 or 3
move
stories.
forward,
Yeah,
'cause
exactly.
I know who everyone is, and that's kind of what Sean's doing at NXT, right? It doesn't crush everybody. You went all in on one, they got hurt, great. Now everyone gets it's tough.
Now especially on the Raw side, we're scrambling to figure out what they're doing. But EO picks Rhea. This sets up their Evolution match happening Sunday. And here's the thing: the card for Evolution looks to be a ton of fun. I just hate that the build has been crazy. And Kilt, to your point too, it's not even just Saturday night's main event. WWE has oversaturated Atlanta that weekend too, because the morning of, we also have NXT's Great American Bash happening that morning. So I'm just like, look, we're going to get to it at the very end of the show when I preview what's to come this week, but I've been saying it for weeks now. The counter programming, WWE needs to make me want to tune into them instead of the other company. But the other company has me invested in what's about to go down in Texas. And I'm just like, nah, we can't be doing this. This match is going to be good, but both Rhea and Io have been given a disservice. And we're going to talk about it during our predictions. There's a slight pit in my stomach feeling. I was just like, I'm not 100% sure if I can truly say with confidence that Io is walking out with this title, which is very unfortunate.
That's kind of my nervous gut feeling too, which is awful because it's sort of she won it, she got it, great, and we saw her twice, it's gone. It's like that's brutal.
And so I was like, I need to know if Dominic's injury is legit or are we like doing this as a work, because I'm like, this is not helping AJ either. But I did get a chuckle out of this segment though.
It was a well scripted segment. Now, granted, I wish he had said bitch, but it was. Oh yeah, you are a dumb. Yeah, like yes, come on. But no, it's not doing anyone service. It's not doing Dominic service. It's not doing AJ service. It's not doing WWE service. It's kind of just we're slow jerking it here, and no one has any lube.
No. And the thing is, too, is we learned earlier this week that AJ signed a 1-year extension to his current contract, which means we are winding down. AJ is about to be retired from this business. And the last 2-3 years of AJ has not been my favorite. I was just like,
So he's got a 1-year extension then.
yeah. So we're winding down. AJ has said that this is the last contract he signed with WWE. He's going to be retired after this contract is up. And I'm just like, I'm not ready.
That makes
But you're also not giving AJ anything. Him and Shinsuke, man, I was just like, this is going to be my soapbox. It's like WWE did not do a service to these men whatsoever. But I digress.
Shinsuke took time off because of the death in his family. I
So
can't help but feel that way anymore, right? Shinsuke went, I'm going to take all this time off. I have to. I need to. This is what I need to do. And then they just kind of cut him loose and went, okay, fine, great. You're going to stay in the bottom of the roster until we're ready to use you again. I think I did hear about the contract. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's right. Because my first instinct was great. Because then you get the John Cena thing. And then you get maybe 6 months of AJ saying goodbye to AJ. So we could really turn the page on some of these folks who are moving on. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we hardly see AJ. I'm
Right.
pretty sure AJ's over it. Like, I don't even want to.
We'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we're going to get Dominic and AJ at SummerSlam at some point for this, because that's the next stop. I don't think it happened at Saturday night's main event, because when we get to SmackDown, I'm going to talk about it. I was like, we got Saturday night's main event, but y'all have not done anything to tell me what's going down at SummerSlam. But like, we'll talk about that when we get to King and Queen of the Ring which is crazy that both of them are on SmackDown, but we'll see what happens. Oh my gosh, this is okay. So match itself was fine. Judgment Day beat the New Day to become the new tag team champions. Hunter, I am mad at you because you have fumbled the New Day's heel turn after that Biggie getting shunned segment on Raw when it first happened. And you had me all excited and you done messed it up. I was like, you have done. I am so upset for Xavier and Kofi. This is the biggest fumble in this era of WWE. I'm like, how did you manage to mess this up?
I have to agree. Like, as much as I think their heel turn was kind of like over dramatized and overacted, that was actually really good. And they really leaned into it, not just on screen, but also in social media. And I think it was really well done on their part. And Finn and AJ4, I couldn't remember. All I couldn't remember was the 5-head. That's it. That's all I can remember. And he was gone for like 2 months because of his injury. And I forgot who he was. Kind of like something that I'm going to mention in the next show. But it doesn't make sense. This makes no sense. They've been teeing up the breaking up of Judgment Day slowly, painfully slowly, and now they're kind of like ramping them back up to something. This doesn't make any sense at all.
I'm so upset because Xavier and Kofi deserve better. The build up to them possibly splitting was great. We talked about that promo backstage that we played with them going at each other's throats and talking about their shortcomings, like Kofi calling Xavier out for never winning a singles championship. And then Xavier bringing up, Brock Lesnar squashing Kofi in 5 seconds, which was crazy. I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Biggie getting shunned from the group in that big retirement segment. Ooh, that was a lot of fun. But then, I don't know, creative, Triple H, Hunter, the writers, like, they messed this up so bad. And I'm like, how is it that the most compelling part of this whole heel turn was Xavier Woods' own social media promos he was doing on TikToks and the Instagrams? Like, what the flip was this?
I love Xavier Woods. I love him all day. I could watch him host anything. I'm biased. I really wanted to get more into the New Day since I started here at BC WrestlePod, and I've seen a handful of things of them be really great to show out. I feel like they've just been fumbled for 3 years. Like, poor guys have had nowhere to go and nothing to really do. This gave them something to do, and now you had 2 heel tag teams face each other and one take it away. Like, now what are you gonna do with them?
We've been saying this forever. This Raw tag team division is on life support right now because it's Judgment Day, New Day. You have the Creed brothers, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. They haven't been doing much of anything. We don't know where the War Raiders went. And I'm just like,
He had surgery, didn't he? Didn't he mess up? He was really messed up, wasn't he?
I think so. I have to do a report on that. But I'm just like, yeah, this has been not a great run for New Day. And I feel so bad for Xavier and Kofi. So Judgment Day now has gold. And I'm just like, once again, creative can't decide if we want it to create dissension for the Judgment Day or not. But it is what it is at this point. So again, Judgment Day are your new tag champs. I hate to say this, and I don't like when the draft takes NXT folks who are in the middle of programs. But I feel that we need a tag team or two from NXT to be moved on up to main roster to help out this division. We gonna talk about SmackDown because at least SmackDown's tag team division, everybody be doing something. So we gonna get to that because that tag team scene is thriving. Though I have questions about certain things, which we'll talk about. Lyra and Bayley are kind of hating on each other, and I'm here for it because they both have beef with Becky, but they want to be the one to bring Becky down. But after what happened last week, with Lyra costing Bayley her match, I'm like, you tell her, Bayley, no more Miss Nice Bayley. You tell Lyra, it's like, you messed it up for me. And now we gonna fight for it tonight because now number one contendership later tonight to see who faces Becky for the Intercontinental Championship. I was like, at least this women's mid-card championship has some legs to it. I don't know what the flip we're doing on SmackDown with the United States one, but more to come on SmackDown when we talk about it. The injury bug continues to plague Raw. Chad Gable is going to be out for who knows how long. So Ivy Nile is in charge of American Made, which I was like, finally put this woman in charge. I think she's going to whip these boys into shape, which I'm excited about.
Yes, Honey Mustard's sister's going to whip the Mayo brothers together.
Which has me excited. But poor Chad Gable is out for who knows how long.
Hold on, before we continue, I do a lot of this just so I can see the professor break.
That was great. No, I hadn't thought about that in so long. I was like, well, that's right. It's perfect.
Well, it gets better because I have in the next scene we'll get there, but I have an idea.
Well, let's get to this next. Well, before we get to that next scene, though, Professor, your thoughts on
No,
this?
I heard bits and pieces of this. I think you're going somewhere with this when we talk about who Chad Gable may or may not be. And I saw the memes and heard the accounts of it all day and all week. I'm really excited to see what they do with Grande Americano. I'm very intrigued.
And this is going to be, we're going to get to that part in a little bit. But right now, backstage, both Adam Pearce and Nick are talking to Judgment Day, congratulating them on their tag team championship win. And Finn is being a little dick.
Yeah, he is a little dick, but in general, two things. Number one, hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
We skipped over the walkthrough.
I'm going to be honest, I skipped it on purpose.
Wait, hold on. Never mind. I'm in the wrong. That was a different segment I was thinking about. My bad.
It's all good. I was like, am I being gaslit here? No. So Finn being an instigator, being a pot stirrer, if you will, talks about, how Raquel shouldn't have to give up the tag team championships because Liv is injured, because Raquel has worked hard for those tag team championships. But he tells Nick and mostly Adam Pearce that, Raquel should team up with Roxanne and they could be a tag team for the duration of Liv's gone. That way they don't have to vacate the titles. Nick and Adam Pearce have a little bit of a conference and they tell the Judgment Day boys that, hey, you know what? I have a great idea. They can continue to be tag team champs, but they're going to have to prove their mettle. So at Evolution, to prove themselves, which is kind of crazy that Raquel has to prove herself yet again, but I guess because Roxanne is now taking Liv's place, Raquel and Roxanne are going to have to defend those women tag team championships in a fatal four-way match at Evolution, which at this time of the day are at the tag team from NXT. When we get to SmackDown, we know the SmackDown participants. Thank you, Nick Aldis, for not wasting a week's time to figure all that out. Again, NXT will probably have theirs on Tuesday, and Raw will be scrambling to figure it out. So we'll see. This week is going to be interesting for all three brands of WWE.
It's not going to be a real tag team. It's just going to be two people. They go, you and you.
Our Nick. This Nick loves you guys. That is official.
Ah, you're too kind. Thank you, Nick.
He is our official, unofficial GM for BC Wrestle.
Nick's going to show up with clipboards and start telling us what to do. And
wait. Is he going to put us on?
Hey, what's up?
New friend, Resident Evil AMC. I subbed for you all the way from Blairsville, Georgia, for the sub, and thank you for being here.
Appreciate that. I'm actually playing Village today. I'm going through the second half of the game right now. It's been jump scaring me. I've been playing it late at night. It's fantastic.
Yes, we love it. So we're getting a fatal four-way. I'm actually excited about this. I'm interested to see who represents Raw. I have a faint idea for NXT, and as we will get to with, SmackDown, we know who's representing SmackDown, but more to come on this, because right now, I'm going to be so for real. This was probably my favorite match of the entire Raw. Not even going front.
This is the first time we actually see Rusev come out and actually do something besides stand there and look, I'm the big guy.
This is his third match since coming back, and this is easy as the best one, but that's because he's fighting Sheamus, who's also going to punch people in the face, which we love.
He's had more than this match. That's literally the only reason I say this is because that's how underused he is. It is to a point where it's like, I don't remember any matches I seen him walk out before Mania and go, I'm here, and then disappear.
He had kind of a half promo not too long ago, right? I'm not watching Raw, so I can't remember, but we've seen him a few times, but yeah, I don't know if he's actually gotten to do anything.
So we get this banger of a match. These two just go full hots on each other. This was so much fun.
Is this worth watching?
I think so.
All right, I might go check it out.
Rusev picks up the victory over Sheamus. So again, we get Rusev a good win against somebody who's actually has some staying power on the roster. Hopefully we see Rusev going towards something more, but who knows, because everybody out here doing crazy stuff in Raw land. Wow. Thanks for the joke, Nick. Oh, what a shame. The misuse. We love the jokes here. But yeah, I definitely recommend this match 100%. This was probably my favorite match of Raw this past week. Now we can get into the talking points. So we're back again with Ivy Nile, and Grande Americano Latte appears, and I'm like, oh, Ludwig Kaiser, what did we do?
Exactly. That's where I was going with this. It's now no longer Grande Americano. He is now oh God, my brain farted. He is now, God dang it, I can't think of the sauerkraut.
Damn. Ludwig has been going through it this week. He is now taking on the moniker of Grande Americano. Him and Tiffany Stratton are no longer a thing. Oh, they broke up, yes. What? I don't know all the details, but Ludwig Kaiser and Tiffany Stratton are no longer a couple.
I just saw them in like the Caribbean or somewhere, like sharing drinks, having a TikTok.
Yeah, they are no longer a thing, so who knows what went down, and I'm just like, oh, Ludwig
I hope
Kaiser.
It's mutual. It's none of my business.
I hope it, yeah, I do as well. But Tiffy.
Well, maybe Ludwig, maybe he needed this. Maybe he needs to put on the mask and hide from his feelings and, be somebody else.
Man, that's a whole therapy session and a half right there.
There's
but that's
okay.
Okay.
Back in there. But
yes.
Look at how American that German guy looks.
What's the crazy part of this whole thing? I don't know who behind creative thought this is a good idea. I'm like, all right, I'll bite.
I don't hate it. I think it's hilarious. Perfect.
I'll bite. Let's see what happens.
You need to do this every time someone gets hurt or we get too close to who Americano is. Put it on.
Oh my gosh! If Omos becomes Grande Americano down the line, I will.
All of them.
This will be nuts. But
it's
Brutus's
great.
reaction in the second picture is probably my favorite. He's just like, what the heck? They all have the various level of craziness. Brutus in the back with his mouth agape is just like overacting. We love it. Julius is like, I have questions. Ivy's like, are you effing kidding me? This is what we're doing right now. Ivy just looks like she's over.
I love it. This is the closest WWE gets to goofy wrestling. Is stuff like this. And I think we need
very
more
true,
comedy
true.
stuff. We need to throw that stuff in there. You can't be DC Comics all the time. You got to throw the curveball in here, right? You can't be dark and brooding for every freaking segment. I think this is the only breath of fresh air kind of going through all of WWE is this stuff. This is fun.
You are absolutely right. So Ludwig as Grande Americano should be interesting. I'm excited that this feud is continuing, right? So I'm excited, right? At least Karrion Kross and Sammy seem to not be over. But I need to have a talk with the internet real quickly and, just wrestling fans in general and commentary in general and just WWE in general. And this might be a hot take. Can we agree that Sami Zayn, as much as we love him, can we not call him an underdog anymore? I feel that Sami can no longer be called an underdog. Like, that has been his thing since getting here, and I feel like Sammy is no longer an underdog to me.
I think, I sent you a TikTok about this, saying the exact same thing, and I'm like, I kind of agree because it's like he's proven himself to not be the underdog sidekick. He's gotten his, he had spotlight with the KO match, which the interview with KO and Cody Rhodes was amazing. And they absolutely loved that. But it's
Matt Cardona.
like,
Anyway, keep
So
going.
good.
yes, it was he needs more credit than being the underdog. But yeah, he just I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I don't see a way for them to get around that mentality for Sammy.
I think it's turned into his brand though, right? That's his thing. He doesn't have a six pack. He's not 6'5". He's not 300 pounds, right? He looks like he just walked in out of a 7-Eleven and he's going to fight you and he's going to do amazing things when he fights you. I think that's just kind of, that's why he was El Generico. I'm just a guy. Hey, right?
Doing the Lord's work with the
There's
right now.
something to that.
He's gonna steal your Cadillac.
Look at him.
Everyone's like
If his name was
smoking on the good stuff, like
Gooch,
Uncle.
he'd be a drug dealer. Like, look at Sami Zayn,
Oh my god.
Sammy Surfer Uncle vibes, and I'm here for it.
right? That's just what
Is this episode gonna be you and me going back and forth trying to break each other? Because this is gonna be great.
This
All right.
love our panel here.
if you look at him and think, oh, his name's Gooch, it's a totally different guy. And yeah, some guy named Gooch against Karrion Kross, he's gonna be the underdog forever.
It's Gooch and Tudor.
Oh, I can't. We're moving on. So Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross seem like we are not done with this. Let's see what happens all this. Shout out to Karrion Kross, who on the side, the film that he's in is about to be playing at some of these film festivals, which should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to
Which
see
is
that.
getting a lot of press, apparently.
Right, which is
they're
crazy.
really impressed by it.
So this is gonna be fun. Obviously, these two are not done, which I'm glad. So let's see what happens. Ooh, Gunther, you're another one, man. Like this whole, I'm just gonna show this picture real quick. This was a mess and a half.
What is LA Knight's face?
So
I got so bored during this segment. I started skipping, and then I skipped too far and literally got to the part where LA Knight just slams Seth into into the bar, and I'm like, wait, why are we out? Why is LA Knight here? Why are we smashing our faces into beer? What the fuck is going on here?
They smashed like 3 different segments into one. So let me break this down. So we're gonna start from the top left-hand corner with Gunther's zoomed-in face. I do need his regime though, because them pores be looking fine. I need that skincare routine because I was like, there's not a wrinkle. Those
You-
pores be cleaned.
You were so interested in this. You were checking out the skincare. Well done.
Here's the thing. I love Gunther with all my heart, especially, when he was underneath his previous moniker when he came to NXT UK of Volta. So I am here for all of this. I don't like how we're booking him right now. But Gunther gets on the mic and, again, he has to promote this match he's going to have with Goldberg/Oldberg at Saturday night's main event this Saturday, which is crazy. But then Seth comes down with the crew, him and his, bodyguard of Bronson Reed and his pet dog and Braun Barker apparently now. We got to figure something out for Braun because this barking in this one note, I was like, I know he's neat, but I'm not stupid.
So Bronze Barker is his new name.
Yes, Braun Barker.
He's like a weatherman.
Or he's
No,
hosting,
sorry, game show host, not.
I was gonna say he's hosting some knockoff Prices Right on
Yeah,
YouTube.
all the prizes are
Oh my
freaking like.
Great hands and 25% off spas this weekend at the fair. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
So, like, we can spend a whole nother episode talking about how we kind of neutered, no pun intended, Braun and all of this and made him more one. But Seth talks about, he's going to, like, it doesn't matter who walks out winner at Saturday night's main event. And in my head, and we're far enough to say this, I'm like, the fuck you mean, Seth? There's only one correct person to walk out as champion. But Seth's like, I got this Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm going to cash it in. And CM Punk comes out. Seth and crew like run CM Punk and Gunther of the ring. CM Punk acting like a first grader whose snack got stolen, pushes Gunther to the ground for no reason, apparently. And I'm like, what beef did I miss? Like, why? What? I'm like, and commentary tried their best. It's like, oh, Punk is seeing red. He has such a hatred for Seth. He doesn't care who he messes with. And I'm like, sirs, Michael Cole, sir, like, let's not play in my face like this. So, meanwhile, this is all happening in the ring. The camera cuts to the stands with Seth running around, with LA Knight eating some popcorn, standing behind him. We get into a brawl. We go into the hall. There's a bar scene, and LA Knight and Seth begin to fight, which then we get told that it is going to be LA Knight versus Seth Rollins at Saturday night's main event. I'm like, this was a mess, y'all.
So Seth is gonna beat LA Knight. Goldberg beats Gunther to have the title for 30 seconds. Seth cashes in, and then LA Knight attacks him from behind. Calling my shot.
Yeah, that makes the most amount of sense.
Mess. Raw
That might be the bad booking night of the year.
I swear, if it comes to fruition, we're gonna have to have a meeting as the WWE crew. It's like, all right, so what are we willing to talk about?
Exactly. Goldberg was champion for 45 seconds. And then gets cashed in on Seth.
It's the 2010s era WWE booking, and I am not happy that we're back here again.
I don't know. It's not going to be as easy as Gunther pinning Goldberg. There's going to be some sort of Goldberg wants something, and people are paying for it. I don't know.
Listen, I don't want to be that type of person who says this on the internet, but I blame these WWE fans who are willing to still give the time and energy to these crap bookings. And
we're still covering it here, and there's still, but when we talk about that here all the time, not to go on a tangent because we've got other stuff to get to, we're a fan of some of these folks as people and as wrestlers and what they've done. So it's sort of, I don't like everyone on my team, but I'm rooting for, players and folks, and I want you to succeed, and there's something that you're doing that's worth watching and whatever else, because we followed them for years or whatever, things like that. Being said, WWE is going to jump the shark one of these days, and it's not going to go well.
Right. And I'm just like, don't want to do this. It is what it is. But yeah, this was a whole mess of a segment. And I do have to say, though, because afterwards, I don't think I included the picture, but CM Punk gets in LA Knight's face talking about how he wants to beat Seth. And LA Knight's like, dude, get in the back of the line. And so I was like, you know what, Punk? LA Knight's right. LA Knight has more reason to fight Seth than you do at the moment. So you're going to wait your turn, dude. So yeah, this was a whole mess of a segment. And we got another match made for Saturday night's mid-event. Moving on. So I have questions about this, but it is what it is. So we get this pre-tape from Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis be looking great in his suits and the little embellishment too. I was just like, Mickey James be dressing you down right.
Look at this tag team right here. Like, can you imagine these two coming out?
Listen, even if it's for one night only, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis as a makeshift tag team for a night, I would be so here for it.
Coming to the ring in suits like this, briefcases, just rolling people.
Heck yeah. So Nick and Adam, Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce here, they give us what's to expect from Evolution. We're getting the Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag champs, Io versus Rhea. But then they announced that there's going to be a battle royale at Evolution. So I'm like, okay, this should be fun. We had one at the first one. But there are some stakes, which I'm going to call my shot here in a little bit of who's going to win this. The winner of this Evolution Battle Royale gets a championship match. So whatever brand they're on, they get a women's championship match based on the brand they're on at Clash in Paris at the end of August. So we're not even SummerSlam. We are going straight to Clash in Paris. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, when I said I wanted you to build out story for future pay-per-view, this is not exactly what I meant. But hey, you know what? This is going to give the Raw And immediately, once they told us that they're getting a championship match at Clash in Paris, I'm just like, okay, so none of the NXT girls are winning this. That's great to know because I don't, which makes me mad. And I'm calling my shot right here. And we're gonna say this more in predictions, but I think I already know who's gonna win this one. I'm like 90% sure I know who's gonna win this one. I believe, yeah. You were gonna say something, Professor?
No, what do you think? What do you think? Who do you think?
Based on what we have seen in the last couple of weeks, I am 90% sure that the winner of this Evolution Battle Royale moving on to Paris is going to be Stephanie Buckhead. I think she's going to face
Really?
for the championship. And I think this goes back to what I said earlier. I think Rhea might actually walk out winner of Evolution because weeks ago we teased Stephanie and Rhea. So I think that's the Clash in Paris.
You have very, very high. They're smart enough to do what you said, but I think that's the right move because Stephanie should get.
We'll see what happens with all of that. So, Battle Royale Evolution winner gets a match at Clash in Paris. Raquel is me, though. She's
Raquel
just
looking
like,
like a fly girl from A Living Color. Well done, Raquel. Looking great.
listen, I love me the Cholita look, but Raquel, you are my spirit animal in this picture. She's just like, I'm here just because I have to be. I'm not down with these losers.
I'm here so I don't get fined. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of got that look.
So, I mean,
She also looks
again,
the hardest of all of them. That's just really
listen, Raquel would intimidate me. She's the only person that still is giving me Judgment Day. Everybody else is too smiley for me.
Yeah.
This is getting
You
out of
say
hand.
everyone's too smiley, but we look at, JD McFivehead, and he's just kind of like,
His eyes, he looks stoned a lot. I wonder if that's part of why.
it's probably from the medication from, pain.
Allegedly. I mean, punctured lungs will do that to you, which is crazy.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
So Bailey and Lyra ends in into the double pin. So it's a tie essentially, and then they brawl. Honestly, this was a fantastic match too. I'm not even going front, except the ending kind of sucked, but it is what it is. And we already knew that nobody was going to win because the wrestling news be kind of killing it with. We are getting a triple threat at Evolution between Lyra, Becky, and Bailey. So should be a fun match. But I'm like, we've been knowing, and this could be a whole topic for another podcast episode, but I was like, do we feel genuinely surprised anymore in professional wrestling? And I'm just like, I feel like some companies are good at that and some companies have kind of not been great at that. We'll just leave it at there.
It only truly works if you give it 6 months.
I mean, that's very true.
You got to bait and switch this correctly. If you're doing these 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week things, we're always going to be right there with you because of the internet and reporters and other stuff like that. The John Cena thing was a damn covert operation, right? When you hear all the stories and how they did that stuff, or The Rock returning 2 years ago, like there's some stuff there that you really have to tamp down on.
Right.
But no, everyone likes to talk. No, none of these folks can keep secrets. They just like to talk so much.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that in our predictions for Evolution.
They really need, what they should do is they should Mark Ruffalo and Tom, what's his name? Spider-Man boy. Thank you, Tom Holland, proof it.
Yeah.
We love that. So we get into our main event, Penta and Sammy versus Bronze Barker and Big Boy Bronson Reed. This should be fun. This was a fun match. I got a fun pop out of the double like Penta walk from Sammy and Penta before diving over the ropes, which was a lot of fun. But Bronson and Barker over here pull out the victory. The beatdown continues to happen before Juicy Usi himself, Jay Uso, comes out for the save. And I'm just like, cool, this Survivor Series match is going to be fun. Wait a minute, hold up. I was just like, this is giving me Survivor Series build, and that's not until November. Like, what is happening?
I don't hate this. It does give us all something to do. I don't hate that. It's just like there's this bottleneck of storylines for some of these folks. Like Sam is kind of stuck between two. Penta, I think they had an idea of what they wanted to do, and now they're just not doing it.
It's crazy.
It's a shame.
It really is.
But-
So that is Raw for this past week. So now let's quickly get into SmackDown because
We can get through SmackDown fast. There's like 3 things to talk about.
Yes, let's chat about Yap Down and move along. It was 15 minutes from the start of the show to when something happened, and then it was another 5 minutes before our first.
Yeah, so we are back to 2 hours on SmackDown, so we're going to get through this. We open things up with our King of the Ring winner, Cody Rhodes. He talks about how he's going to take the title from Cena, but then he gets interrupted by Randy Orton. Randy admits that, he hesitated when he was about to give Cody the punt kick at Night of Champions, but Cody did not hesitate using the turnbuckle. So he wants Cody to bring an end to John Cena too. And then they are both interrupted by the return of Drew McIntyre and his whole sexy kilt ensemble, which we love. But character-wise, Drew is whatever, but I'm just like, Mrs. McIntyre, you are a very lucky woman. I'm gonna just leave it at that because we try and keep a PG this morning.
Yeah, she is. She is very lucky, but it's like we go back to, something I said earlier about forgetting that, they're part of the company. Hi, Drew. Where have you been?
Right.
I almost forgot that you belonged here.
Haven't seen it since Mania. I think they had to flip a coin on if they wanted to return in Saudi or here. He probably would have got the huge pop returning from in Saudi, but they saved it for SmackDown, which is fine. He had a little bit of a weird line where he was like, "No, you hang up. That's all I hear when you two talk." They didn't talk. Cody said 3 things. Randy said 3 things, and you came out. It does make me. I do want to see the two of them. It's too bad it's Saturday night's main event.
I know we could have saved it for a really fun like pay-per-view event, like a SummerSlam thing, but
And we might get that, and that might show up. Hell, I thought they were going to do it later in the evening. They were going to go,
that would have been
all right,
great.
you get them now. Okay,
But
let's go. But
apparently not. So, I mean, Randy Orton RKO's Drew McIntyre, Cody and Randy have a bit of a stare down. That Randy heel turn coming later this year should be a lot of fun. Drew wants Randy tonight. Nick Aldis is like, no, we can't do that. But I'll give you him at Saturday night's main event. And that is the match that is made for Saturday night's main event, Randy Orton versus Drew. I'm very intrigued. I think this could be a baller match. I'm just very sad it's stuck on a Saturday night main event.
That deserves all the popcorn, not this one.
No. And again, I'm biased because I'm the NXT correspondent out of our little WWE group on a daily basis. But NXT always ends up blowing the main event pay-per-views on the same day and the same weekend out the water half the time anyways. So I have high expectations for Great American Bash because the card for that looks to be fun, which I feel like main roster forgets half the time. But we move on from this because, look, I know Solo got the title, but watching Jacob run a 5-piece combo on everybody, I was just like, we just got to let the bloodline go, y'all. We got to wrap it up. This is the least intimidating version. This is version 3.0. Which we gonna get into it later, but y'all couldn't have come up with something better than My Family Tree MFT. I'm like, what in the Bitcoin is this?
It's the Great Value Wish version.
Kilt is so bored he has to drink the pain away.
I love Fatu pulling up just enough so they don't blow the door off the rental car they use. It's just enough to not hurt the door.
Be like, we don't want to pay for damages.
We don't want to damage this. I think it's crazy that how quickly Jimmy and Jacob
are on the same page now.
They're fine. You need a partner. Yeah. Let's go. Boom. What?
I wanted at least a week where we got some recompense. They hash out their differences. It's just look, I don't like you. You don't like me. But we got a common enemy right now. So I got your back should you need it. And I was like, cool. And then have this all happen next week. But we got it all smashed into one episode.
That's fine. But I know where we're going with this. We're going to get the big unifying 16-man tag bloodline forever
Lord
match.
help us.
It's going to be a year from now. It's probably not even going to be a WrestleMania. It's probably going to be SummerSlam a year from now. And it's going to be a 6-on-6 Roman's returned. The Rock and Rikishi sit up there and watch. We know that's where we're going.
I was just like, I can't believe I'm saying this. There's too many Samoan bloodlines right now in WWE right now. There's too many of the Samoans. And then if the rumors are true where we're going to call Zilla to come in, I was just like, there's too many Samoans.
Zilla's been calling his own shot for a year though, right?
Listen, Zilla, I love you. You need to stay on the independents because you be on and popping right now on the independents right now. But, everybody wants to go to one of these bigger companies, but there are too many Samoans right now. And as much as I complained about Roman Reigns in the 4-year saga that was that story with Roman, listen,
don't look back and change history now.
No, I'm gonna say this: it was cool the first 2 years. 3rd year, it was outstaying its welcome. 4th year, it was dragging it out forever. But at least the craziness it was at least entertaining. But then when Solo got the reins, I was just like, I don't know what happened, but we need to wrap this up. No more bloodline storylines in WWE for at least a year, y'all. Come on now. I need a break.
They won't do it.
I need a break.
They won't do it. As long as people buying Fatu t-shirts, they're going to keep doing it.
Anyways, we move on. This was actually a pretty good match. And I like Charlotte and Alexis as a tag team. Alexa, not Alexis, sorry. So this was for the SmackDown tag team spot in that Fatal 4-Way in Evolution, where it was Charlotte and Alexa taking on the Secret Hervis, which is Piper and Alba Fire versus B-Fab and Michin. I was like, girls got screen time. I miss B-Fab and Michin. So this is actually a fun match. To nobody's surprise, Charlotte and Alexa win. But honestly, I like what we're doing with them. It's keeping Charlotte out of the main title picture. And I'm actually, look, I said this before. I feel like since Charlotte's return, I feel like while her getting put in a WrestleMania match with Tiffy and that whole build was an absolute disaster. But I feel like the hate was a little bit undeserved when Charlotte came back immediately. She didn't even do much and people are already like hating on her. I'm actually really glad that we pivot to this because Alexa is making Charlotte likable for me, which is kind of crazy to say. For me, I can't speak for my other constituents here.
Kilt, did you have words? You just have faces?
I have knuckle popping, and it's like, okay, this is kind of cool. It was funny because it's like Charlotte's like, oh, it's my spotlight, and Alexa's like, all right, we'll see about that. And then we saw about that. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's hilarious.
Alexa is great coding Charlotte's like arrogance, and it's kind of fun to watch.
It is. I really liked the ending. The sort of pat on the head false tag thing is something we don't see. Charlotte doesn't know she's legal. She tagged her in. All that's the ending of this was actually really funny. I thought that was great. I think we're trying to face turn Charlotte using Bliss, partly because Charlotte has that arrogant I don't need friends thing, but then you have screenshots like this where it's like, oh, hugs are nice. And then she kind of shook it off.
It's going to be a tsundere situation.
There was a scary fall. Michin almost got hurt.
Ooh,
Camera cut
that was
away.
rough to watch.
I think that was, I don't know who was on the outside running to catch her, but they barely got her. She got tied up on those ropes and something fierce, like by her knees, not even her feet, and she went straight down when they pulled away quickly, and then we didn't really see Michin again for a little bit. That corkscrew whatever thing Alexa Bliss does is gorgeous. I do like this. I think this is fun. I don't know if they're going to give it legs, if they're going to make it run for a while or not, but it does keep Charlotte out of the main title picture because that's already kind of messy money. They got to figure that stuff out. So
this is also again, we talked about how Raw tag team division is flatlining. At least SmackDown is doing stuff with here. We are continuing to tell the tale of everybody except for DIY versus the Wyatt Six because they're like, listen, the Wyatt Six are about to come after us. We need to be on the same page, and DIY just being absolute turds. It's like, nah, we're good. Y'all can fight them. We're going to be chilling in the back. But unfortunately for Johnny Gargano, that's not happening because then we create this 8-man tag team match of all 4 male members of the Wyatt Six versus 1 member of each tag team. So we get Chris Sabin, Johnny Gargano, Ford, and Berto. So Eric Redbeard over here pinning Chris Sabin for the win for the Wyatt Six. Johnny Gargano had me laughing trying to get through Dexter Lumis. Remember the time when we were in a faction together in NXT? We're your family, not them. And then Dexter punches him in the face, which was kind of fun to watch.
Dexter Lumis going from like awkward Eastern European murderer to full dreads part of the Six is an amazing blow up, in my opinion.
Dexter Lumis looking like he about to be the next Far Cry villain.
He does look like a Far Cry. That's actually really true. He's up there with.
That's great. And I think the next, actually, speaking of Far Cry, because I think I saw an announcement that who is it from Peaky Blinders? Murphy, I think, is going to be Far Cry.
Yeah.
I will get you the story that I saw, and I'll send it over.
My family,
Love it.
We've been going down that Far Cry rabbit hole for years now. I love the idea of it's Pagan Min and Dexter Lumis and like the top 5 Far Cry bad guys of all time. That makes me happy. I actually thought they worked really well together for something that seemed a little, hey, let's just throw something together. Normally these don't work out. So I kind of hate 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tag team matches. But again, this one really worked. There was high energy here. There was a lot at stake. I love Gargano being terrified and not tagging in and just letting save and die. If you're going to do crazy things with the Wyatt Six, start doing crazy things. This is how a tag division works for you, right? Everything is set up. Everything is stacked. Use everybody often, at least once a week, if not twice a week. Get them in there.
And SmackDown's great with this because we got another tag team match that could build to a feud that doesn't evolve around the championships, which we'll talk about.
Hey, look, and we actually kind of sort of care and want to see what happens.
Right? It's crazy out here, but backstage segment was fun. Match was fun. SmackDown's tag team division is by far the better division of the two main roster ones. We love to see it. Again, just like Raw, this was a mess of a segment. We got too many.
It was, but her titties were tittying, and that dress Jade was in was amazing.
Yeah, we're going to quickly run through this because Tiffy comes out to cut a promo. She gets interrupted by Jade. Jade reminds Tiffy that she's going to face her, but Tiffy's like, you're going to face me, but not at Evolution because I have a match already scheduled. I picked my opponent, and we learned that it's Trish Stratus. Nobody should be surprised this is happening, especially since these two teamed up at Elimination Chamber together back in March. So I was just like, y'all know this was coming at some point. So Trish gets on the mic and goes back and forth with Tiffany. Jade did not need to be out here. I'm going to be so for real. She didn't need to because once Tiffy and Trish started going at it, Jade was just chilling in the corner. But officially made for Evolution next Sunday, we are getting a WWE Women's Championship match. Tiffy defending her title against the legendary Trish Stratus. Which I'm here
why? I'm here for it. That's okay, but why?
Here's the thing. I love Trish with all my heart. She definitely, her, Mickey, Lita, even Molly Holly, like Gail Kim,
Sure.
Those 2000 era girls had to fight to be on screen.
Yes.
And like they were the pioneers for women's wrestling in that era to kind of start to being treated like with respect, even though the person in charge at that time wanted bra and panty matches all the time. I get it because Tiffy and Tiffany has gone on record saying that Trish has inspired her, especially with certain things.
Sure.
I just wish WWE, and it might be, other women's legends saying no, but I wish that we had other women come in to have these legendary spots for these matches. Like I would love to see Lita or even a Mickey come back in certain capacity because the go-to is always Trish. And I love Trish with all my heart, but
and we can unpack that 100 different ways, and this is probably not the time to do it, but I wonder how many women were burned and don't want to get back
that's
into
also
it,
very fair too.
right?
Like Gail
How
Kim,
some of them are like, no, you're not going to use me as some pawn to get seats so you could appear to look a certain way. I love that Trish is there, and I'm not knocking Trish at all. This felt a little shoehorned in, sort of, hey, we got to really make people care about Evolution. Let's get her in there. You could have done this 3 weeks ago and it wouldn't have felt so shoehorned.
right?
You could have had a better segment. This was odd because all three of them talk about the past and then talk about, like, Tiffany has a whole, let's talk about Nia Jax and and all the things that you need to know to get caught up. Jade comes out. Let me tell you all the things I've been up. Trish comes out. Let me tell you all the things I've been watching and now you're caught up. Like, now I'm bored. Come on. You're all know better. So I think this is creative steering them in the wrong direction. Nothing that they did wrong.
And definitely they underused our sparkling queen of the ring. It's like,
Sure.
she came out to say stuff, and then it's like, oh yeah, whatever, we're gonna ignore you. And then it goes back to our moment of underuse of non-white talent or ignoring or whatever, or the
Sure.
implied nature of it. And it's like, did she even need to come out? Like, you could have had this whole thing without Jade.
Oh, we're going to get to that in a little bit with this backstage segment because I feel like certain things were filmed out of order and put in the wrong order.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So we'll get there in a little bit. But from one women's segment to the next, we got to talk about this because, again, we didn't review the Saudi smack, but Julia beat Zelina Vega for that Women's United States Championship. Listen, I am a big fan of Julia. I've been following her since her Japanese wrestling career in Stardom and Marigold. Like, I love Julia with all my heart. She was fun in NXT when she came over before getting called up. I'm excited. I hope they give Julia a Gunther-style run with this championship where she's just dominant and kicking people in the face. I just feel really bad for Zelina because she got the short end of the stick because they didn't give anything to our Puerto Rican princess to do for fun-wise. It was just rematches with Chelsea and the Secret Hervis, and then she loses it to Julia and Saudi. You're muted.
I'm muted, sorry. Not even a pay-per-view, right? Like, nothing. She didn't have to work on anything. Get to work on anything. It's a shame how they misused her, and I don't know why they didn't. I'm a huge fan of her. I love promos in Japanese. Do them in Japanese all the time. It just sounds beautiful. And
this week was great for our Japanese women's wrestlers because Julia, and then I couldn't find a picture, and I forgot to mention in Raw, But Kyrie's pirate-inspired promo, pre-tape promo was amazing. She's going back to her pirate character, and I love it. But yeah, I'm just like, Zelina got the short end of the stick, and
That's unfortunate.
I felt so bad for her and Julia too.
I just hope for better for her as well. Now that whatever LWO is kind of gone and all this stuff's kind of dispersed, it's a shame.
It really is. But so prior to everything that's happening, we get this little segment where we get introduced to the MFT. I'm just like, we don't care. I don't care.
It
It's
was
like,
yep, 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 yep. I'm Solo Sokoa. Yep, 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 yep. More Samoans. Yep, 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 yep. Next.
true. Tonga, I am so sorry. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so again, this is where I felt like we put stuff out of order, filmed stuff, and put it in the wrong place because it has a conversation with Trish backstage, and Jade's like, so I hear you might be getting a championship match at Evolution. I'm like, girl, you were in the ring when it was officially made, not even 2 segments ago. So I was just like, somebody is getting fired. Whoever, like, if this was filmed before that, prior to this, earlier in the day, like, I have no clue what's going down.
And I think the segment might have been cut because if Jada got on there, called out Naomi, and then I mean they
It's
could have done this a
okay.
little better. I do think it was kind of not the right order. It just felt out of place and strange. But again, like I said at the top, Trish walks away, and a second later, Naomi hits
bulldozes the
Jade.
stage. Yeah.
Trish knew, like, you're all within 5 feet of each other. How'd you not notice her stand? I didn't buy it.
So Naomi just reminds Jade that she has the Money in the Bank briefcase, which again, like Seth Rollins, they customize it, and those things are selling like hotcakes. I'm not paying $500 for it, but cool for people.
$500 for that?
Listen, here's a lot of things. When it comes to WWE merch, as much as I love the collectibles and stuff like that, I'm not paying to go broke for some of these things. Would I pay for a $90 Penta mask? Absolutely, because I'll be using that every single day of my life. But I'm not paying $500 for this Money in the Bank briefcase. I was just like, I'm good.
I wanted that San Francisco 49er title belt. It's $499.99. It's like, nope, just
Nope.
kidding. Don't need that.
Be like, if somebody gifts it to me, absolutely, but I'm not going to pay for it. But anyways,
Yeah.
this proceeds again, like you said, Trish walks away. Naomi, I love this outfit, girl. We are just some wings away, and you could be cosplaying as Bumblebee from DC Comics, and I'm here for it.
Basically.
Like she got the hair and everything.
The only thing I could think of was they were either doing this before Raw was shot because it was a double.
Taping Raw and SmackDown.
So they're doing it while Raw was going on, and then they decided to change everything at SmackDown, or they did it before Raw and they just forgot what they had planned for SmackDown. And it's like,
Probably.
Or someone showed up late or
Yeah.
something got weird. Yeah.
it's
It
like
was weird.
that makes no sense. Why are we doing this?
Well, that can be exactly said because then we also get confirmation that Evolution, Jade and Naomi are giving me a SummerSlam rematch, but this time it's a no holds barred match, and I'm like, why was this not the match at WrestleMania when this whole thing kicked off? I was like, we have backwards planned everything, y'all. And I'm like, I feel bad for both of them because Jade needs to win this one if you're going to continue to push her forward. But Naomi losing also doesn't make me feel happy, but we'll talk about that in our predictions. But I was just like, this match should have been the WrestleMania, the no holds barred. Like when Jade returned and attacked Naomi at Elimination Chamber, like they were fighting each other leading into Mania often. You should have had a street fight match between these two at Mania, but we're getting it at Evolution. So sure, moving on. This was a banger of a match. Rey Fenix taking on a This is, again, 2 for 2 tag team matches this week on SmackDown. We're bussing and we're amazing. So
This was great. This was so much fun.
I'm
Like,
actually Andrade and Rey as a tag team.
yeah, after coming off to that week of CMLL and all that other fun stuff I was getting to watch around here, like this was the first that I've seen since. Like this is great.
This is a barn burner. No,
I really
great.
want a faction with Penta, Fenix, Andrade. I think they got to reunite the Lucha Brothers and get Andrade in there. Then you got something to go up against Phantasma. That would be a blast. I think they're going to slow burn this for a long time because they all work really well together. But if it makes sense, they're not going to do it.
They really do. So this was a banger of a match. Next week, we're getting 2 matches advertised. We're getting a rematch between the Street Profits and the Wyatt Six for the Tag Team Championships, which I think this match is going to show up and show out. And then we're getting R-Truth versus Aleister Black, which should be really fun. Or Ron Killings. I don't know why they keep saying R-Truth. I'm like, it's Ron, you guys. But That match should be interesting and fun too. Main event was a whole entire mess. Like, I know that we can't have Solo and faction be domineering, but I was just like, we weren't even a week away, and this man gets pinned clean. And then, of course, you know, the My Family Tree attacks Jacob and Jimmy afterwards as they stand tall, even though they lost. I was like, you gave this man the championship, and Jacob already beat him not even a week. Like what is happening?
Odd. Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Ancestry.com here is just this makes no sense.
It's not the Ancestry.com.
We have to call them that from now on.
It's no longer my
That was
family
my
tree.
choice. It was like Ancestry.com or it's going to
It's
be
my
23andMe.
My, ans-
23andMe.
my Ancestry.com over here standing tall at the end of this.
I do love Solo walking out and going, my 23andMe are gonna like it's all 23.
It's the whole
It's
clique
all
now.
up.
It's just like, no, it,
Oh,
we're gonna
Wait. When we have the 16-man Samoan match, that's going to be the 23andMe match.
We're just
Sponsored by
adding
23andMe.
cousins to make it 23. It's just
Ridiculous.
this massive
Get
thing.
Juicy Fatu, Zilla Fatu, get
Ava from
Rikishi.
NXT, everybody. Just everyone is magically related, kinda.
Get Naomi in there because they're married into the family.
You're a Samoan.
And I'm not a Samoan. What? No, throw Sammy in there for whatever reason.
Listen, it's as like the white guy invited to the cookout kind of situation. I am here for all of this.
Yep, they should
mean,
invite Gooch.
Yes, Sammy is the fun-loving uncle. Listen, I have had a blast with him.
If they invite Gooch, can they invite Cooter too?
Oh
Absolutely
my
have to.
gosh.
They have to.
On
They have
that lovely note, that brings us to the end of the WWE review portion, but we are not quite done yet because we are possibly doing a watch along for Evolution, depending on certain things. Later this week, I'll make that announcement. But we got
Cool.
some beyonds that we are going to be
Oh
making.
no, here we go.
So let me just change things out here.
Look at all the women that we never see.
You want to know something very funny about this poster, too? There is no Stephanie and no Asuka on this poster.
There it. You're right.
Stephanie Vaquer is not on there, and Asuka is nowhere to be found on this poster either.
What?
I shouldn't be laughing, but I was just like, y'all, whoever designed this poster
cold.
is getting fired.
That's cold.
It's crazy out here. But let's go through our Evolution predictions. I'm going to be so for real. I think this would probably be another safe pay-per-view, but who knows? WWE might decide to throw things at the wall to see what sticks.
Sure.
So let's start with the Battle Royale. So the way that these rules are going to kind of work is that I've kind of changed it up for these multi-person gauntlet / Battle Royale matches. I would like to thank a friend of mine who kind of helped me finalize this. So for this Evolution Battle Royale, there are 2 questions, one for actual points and one for a bonus point if you end up getting it correct, which will cover for a wrong prediction. So it's not an additional point, but it negates a wrong prediction. So once again, for this Battle Royale, the winner is getting a championship match with the champion of their brand at Clash in Paris in August. So for the actual points, boys, what do you think will happen first in this Battle Royale? Do we get a return? Do we get an international star from one of the many international brands working from WWE, which includes from Triple Pro Wrestling Noah, Mighty Gold, etc.? Or do we get a legend returning first? So which of these 3 things do you think will happen first?
I'm gonna say Legend returns first.
Same.
They're gonna
And-
strong.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then for a bonus point, which does not count against your score if you get it wrong, but you will get a point to help you cover for a wrong prediction down the line. Who do you think wins this Battle Royale? I already said mine. I got Stephanie Vaquer winning this one.
And it's everyone's in it, right? Everyone's here.
Yeah, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. This is everybody who isn't getting an actual match on this card, or at least it's probably going to be a 30 women one. So 30 women from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and some surprises here and there.
The smart thing is Stephanie. I
Mhm.
don't trust them to do the smart thing. That
mean-
being said, you have outpicked me for 2 years.
It's like, I'm not going to let Mikey win another one.
And I don't want to just copy you. It might be I don't know. Kilt, what do you think?
I'm going with Stephanie because that's the only one I can think of that's all in the match. Because I lose track of who's who and who's where.
That's the other thing.
It's just
Stephanie's
like-
the only one who's kind of officially announced herself for this thing too. So I'm just like, it is what it is. So who you got, Professor?
I don't know. I can't pick the field because that'd be dumb. You pick Stephanie. I'll pick everybody else.
Legit though, I almost put down Triple H. Technically speaking, I would be right.
You know, I'm gonna no. I can't say that. That's my fun pick, but there's no way that's going to happen. And I don't even think she's going to be there. Can we come back to me for this? Let me think
Yeah,
about
we'll come back around before we end. So let's move on to the next one, though. No holds barred match, Jade versus Nate. I got Jade for this one. I feel like Jade losing here kind of stops the momentum that we've been trying to build with her. And as much as I don't like Naomi losing, she's got that briefcase. So I'm not 100% too worried about it. So I got Jade winning this one, and it's
I
no
think
hold barred.
I think that makes sense, which is why they're not gonna do it. I think it's Naomi shenanigans by shenanigans.
That could also be a thing, too. And we get one more match between the two of them. Kilts, who you got?
Naomi, because they're probably gonna try and push the briefcase situation and kind of not really sideline Jade, but I don't think they're actually gonna push Jade any more than they already have.
That is fair. Alrighty. So next up, we have our fatal four-way for the women's tag team championships. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez defending the titles against a team from Raw, a team from SmackDown, and a team from NXT. At the time of this review, we only know the SmackDown representative. So I'm picking Raquel and Roxanne. I feel like it would be such a disservice to take the titles off of them, especially given the fact that Raquel has been putting in the work, and she and Rhea had a fantastic match at Night of Champions. So I'm going with our Judgment Day girls to retain, but I'm excited to see who's representing Raw and NXT. We'll probably find that out this week. We have to find out this week because the pay-per-view is next week, next Sunday. So I got Raquel and Roxanne. Kilt, I'm coming to you first. Who you got for this one?
I think I put the Raquel and Roxanne. I honestly, until I know who's going to be from NXT and who's going to be from Raw, this is probably what it's going to. No, wait. I think you put Charlotte and Alexa on this.
Yeah,
So
'cause
yeah,
they're
yeah.
representing
I put
SmackDown.
I put them down because it's Charlotte.
I think it's
Interesting.
awful. I think they're gonna screw Raquel and Roxanne. They're not gonna let them get run. They're gonna want to move it on to something else. I might change this once I know the Raw and NXT teams. I would love an NXT team to win. I don't think they will.
So, okay, so while it hasn't been confirmed, there are some rumors of who is representing Raw and NXT. I don't know if that's going to be the official plan, but we can wait until we'll find out by tomorrow and Tuesday what our last two teams are. So thankfully, we can change if need be, which helps me out. But the rumored report, it's Raquel and Roxanne versus Alexa and Charlotte. For Raw, it's Natalya and Maxine Dupree. I know, odd pairing, the Dungeon Dolls as they are now going by. And then for NXT, the rumored report, it's Sol Ruka and Zarya, which I'm like, oh shit, if that's true. Oh my God. Zarya's going to bulldoze some women and it's going to be lovely. But yeah, we could change this up. But for right now, I got Roxanne and Raquel. And then once we get the finalized, we can change before next Sunday. While we don't have an official graphic yet because it was announced this morning, but we're getting a triple threat for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky defending her title against both Bayley and Lyra. I have Becky retaining. I don't see them taking it off Becky already. So I got Becky retaining.
Becky's retaining.
Yeah, most likely Becky's retaining. I still put Bayley just because I wanted to see Bayley win, but I have a feeling I'm going to be wrong.
Right. All right. So now we're going to fill in some lore for Professor and Kilts here because next up we have our NXT Women's Championship on the line. So let me give you this whole story because there are some implications what's going to go down on
I got
Sunday,
some bits and pieces when I watched
July
NXT for the
20th.
first time last week.
So this is getting crazy, right? So this was just announced this past Thursday on TNA. So Jordan Grace won a fatal four-way match to face our NXT Women's Champ, JC Jane, lead a Fatal Influence on NXT. And these two are going to go at it. I'm super excited about this, but there's some implications because we know NXT and TNA have this working relationship. This match has some stake for what's happening the following week, Sunday, July 20th at TNA Slammiversary event, because the winner of this match will go on to face TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich in a winner-take-all title-for-title match. So at Slammiversary, the woman who walks out the winner will be both TNA Women's Champion and NXT Women's Champion. So with that being said, I love JC to death, but I'm going with Jordan Grace here because actually, I don't know. This is Jordan at Slammiversary. If JC wins, I think Masha might be walking out as a double champ. But I have to go with Jordan. This is her fourth time at the title. this has to be the one where Shawn Michaels lets her get the title.
I think it's Jordynne Grace. What I said at NXT when I was there last week was that they gotta start pushing Jordynne Grace towards a main roster, and I don't mean that NXT is lesser. That's not why I'm saying that. I think Jordynne Grace is 28, 29 years old, and she should be on SmackDown and Raw. She should be tearing it up there. She should be on her path towards being a main card main eventer. She's amazing. And for some reason, they just haven't pulled the trigger, released the beast on that. So that's a shame. I think that's where I hope that's where we're going because I love me.
There's
Jordynne.
a lot of wires crossing between NXT and TNA with so many implications. I was just like, but I really want to see Jordynne finally get the win here. So I'm going with Jordynne. And who knows? Masha might beat her because Masha finally was able to beat Jordynne for the Knockouts Championship before Jordynne went to NXT. So I'm just like, we'll see what happens. Crazier things have happened. Kilt, who you got between JC and Jordynne?
It shows Jordan.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Second women's championship match. Tiffany defending against Trish Stratus. I love you, Trish. Tiffany all the way. Tiffany's no way. In a world, I do not see Tiffany losing this title to Trish of all people. I'm not going to lie.
I have Tiffany for it, but I think it's going to go one of two ways. Tiffany's going to lose it to Trish. Naomi's going to cash in. That's how I see it. Someone's going to cash in during this high profile match, and it's going to be the thing.
That is very fair. And then Professor, who you got between these two?
Yeah, they're not letting it off of Tiffany for Trish. Trish probably doesn't want to be a long-term champion at her age. She's here to show up. She's here to have a great match with Tiff, and I'm sure they've been working on something. It's Tiffany.
Cool. And then finally, which I'm hoping main events Evolution for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, Io defending her title against Rhea. This one hurts me because I feel that booking and creative have put these two in the corner, and it's going to hurt either way with Io losing her title, but then also the hate that Rhea is going to get because she already has people calling her Rhea Hogan, which I don't think is a fair comparison, and everybody needs to stop with that. Based on everything, and I'm just looking ahead, as much as it pains me to say it, I think Rhea walks out as our champion. Rhea, I think, wins this somehow.
It's definitely going to be Mommy as champion because they've been underutilizing Io, and I think she's starting to notice that. And I think after this loss Io's probably not going to get any more screen time.
Well, the other thing that doesn't help with all of this too is for the past couple of weeks, especially on Raw, commentary made it an effort to tell us at home that in the track record, Rhea has had 3 other matches with Io, including their time in NXT, and Rhea has never been able to beat Io since they both been in the company. So to me, that also screams that Rhea kind of has to win this one after losing to Io the last 3 times that they've faced each other. But who knows? I could be wrong. Io may continue to be dominant. But Professor, who you got between these two?
The easy answer is Rhea, right? But again, if that makes sense, they're not always going to do it. So I wouldn't be surprised that Curveball is here. I'm not picking against Rhea because I get hosed on my picks all the time when I go with my heart, not with my head. I'm going to pick Rhea because I think that's the smart pick for sure. And that's probably where we're going to go. I do understand the Rhea Hogan attitude and thing. I think it's misplaced because Rhea is far more humble and negotiable and copacetic than Hogan ever was.
She's a girl's girl too. She's always defending the women.
She defends women in other promotions.
Yeah, that too, man. I was just like, y'all are weird. You need to stop.
So I think folks just want to rag on someone because they're at the top or because they're intimidated or whatever else. I think it's Rhea, which is a shame for Io Sky. I wonder if Io wants some time away and time off the way things have been going. So
we'll see what happens. And then, we have to get through Evolution and Saturday night's main event and then they're going to spend 2 weeks building up to SummerSlam. I'm like, gosh, these too many pay-per-views are killing me. Y'all got 2 weeks to build to SummerSlam. We already know we're getting Cody and John Cena on one of these nights, but you still got 2 nights worth of matches to figure out too. But those have been our predictions for Evolution, which is happening next Sunday.
Is Chelsea Green in the No Holds Barred match?
That would be fun, but that's the other thing too. Chelsea's probably going to end up being in the Battle Royale. Again, the Battle Royale for future championship match, also known as none of these other women are getting other types of matches on here, so let's throw all the women on here that we can. Chelsea's somewhere in this poster, I think.
I see her. I'm looking at who else is here, but I'm not using that as my guide.
But yeah, the fact that Asuka and Stephanie are not on this poster is kind of crazy.
I would pick Asuka, but she's not on the poster, and that makes me sad.
Which is the other thing, too. I thought we were building toward Asuka and Io for SummerSlam. I guess it's not. Who knows? We might still be getting it, but who knows?
I'm going to say Chelsea Green.
As the winner of the Battle Royale. That would be great. Chelsea at SummerSlam would be fantastic. But that is going to take us to the end of our WWE review. This is a little bit of a longer one because we did a lot of, talking about WWE's weird product this week. And we'll probably be talking about it again in our group chat. We are not having an official review next Sunday, possible Evolution watch along, but stay tuned for more information on the socials for that. But let me tell you all the things that are happening this week because there's a lot. So we have a busy week this week here at BC Wrestle Pod. We have a bit of a break, nothing tomorrow evening, but on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern is our AEW review, where we will be not only reviewing Dynamite 300 and Collision 100, we will also be doing our picks for All In is happening in less than 6 days, y'all. This is crazy. Then come Wednesday, we have a double dose of reviews. We are doing the Go Home Show review for NXT before Great American Bash at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And then at 8 p.m. Pacific, we are back once again for CMLL goodness with Los Lobos de la Lucha, as we are now kind of finally getting back into the groove of CMLL post AEW ROH CMLL week that was 2 weeks ago, which was great. Thursday, we are flying back up north because we have another iteration where me and Will be reviewing Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's Resurrection event, which saw some good championship matches, and we had a main event House of Pain match, which is great, and some fun stuff too. And there's a lot of people that have been crossing over here. We got Speedball Mike Bailey popping up in here. We had Josh Alexander defending his Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Men's Championship. It's really great. Then Friday evening, we are back once again with our TNA review at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. And then this weekend, especially this upcoming Saturday, is going to be a double dose of action. 9 a.m. Pacific. It will be me and whoever else wants to join me to review Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor pay-per-view for a short one. We are getting lots of crossover from CMLL. Bandito is putting his title on the line. We have Blue Panther of CMLL fighting Lee Moriarty for the Pure Championship. Thunder Rosa of AEW fighting Athena for the Women's Championship. And then Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes defending their tag team championships against the Infantry. This is going to be a fun review. I can't wait. But then the big thing that is happening this Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific is the live watch along for AEW's Y'all in Texas. We have so many matches that are scheduled that I am super excited for. Mercedes versus Tony for the Women's Championship. Versus Kenny Omega for a winner-take-all unification match. John Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death. So I'm just like, we are about to get an Avengers level overbooked mess, and it's going to be beautiful to watch. I swear. I'm pretty sure that's main hunting Y'all in. So myself, JVL, and possibly the professor will be here giving you all the watch along goodness for Y'all in. So
I hope to be at all those. I'm going to be in and out of town, so I'll take all my gear with me and I'll keep you posted.
Yes, we would love to see you. But that's going to be it for us here. We got a fun week packed up, but we got to get up on out of here because we're going to do some talking about certain things coming up, especially since your boy is going on a week-long vacation somewhat next week. So this is going, we got to talk about some business stuff. But from all of us here at the BC Wrestle Pod family, remember to take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more importantly than anything, you've always deserved to finish your story. We will see you on Tuesday to bring you a week full of fun reviews. But until then, and this is Dual Dynasty signing out for the afternoon/evening. So until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.